today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some creepy and strange TikToks. Let's giddy up.
You ever heard of the lottery conspiracy theory? You know when you go inside of a gas station and you find lottery tickets and people buy them and they scratch them off in hopes of winning millions of dollars? What if I told you about the conspiracy theory that says the government created the lottery in order to catch time travelers? I know it sounds crazy, but just bear with me, it's going to make a lot of sense.
You know, I thought that was going to go somewhere where it was going to be the government created the lottery just to end up keeping people from, spending their money, continuing to buy them and wasting their money. And it being like a pretty much a thing where I've heard a theory where they kind of pick and choose who wins. Like they already know who's going to win the lottery. So that's just where I thought it was going to go. Maybe it still will. I don't know.
Okay, so people believe the government created the lottery in order to catch time travelers. The chance of winning the lottery right now is about 1 in 14 million. So statistically, you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning. Now let's take a look at one of the most popular lotteries called the Mega Millions. You have a 1 in 300 million chance of winning this lottery. Or in other words, you would need to be struck by lightning 21 times back to back to back in order to win this lottery. So the odds of winning are nearly impossible, so that's why people believe the government created this in order to catch time travelers, is because the time travelers would know exactly where to go and exactly which one. God, that was a mouthful to say, but make sure to like and follow if you guys want to see more videos.
Skip.
I'm not saying that there isn't some validity to that theory, because, there's a good portion of me that believes in time travel. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I don't think it's the only reason why the government created the lottery to catch time travelers. I mean, I can't sit there and think that every single person that's won has been a time traveler, especially when you think about the people that don't even go in there and pick the numbers. They just do like a quick pick, whatever have you. So, but it's an interesting theory though.
Scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will seriously ruin your life. This list shows all the conspiracy theories from the most normal ones we all know to the darkest of the dark that will change the way you literally see the world. And of course in this series we're going to be going from the top all the way down to the bottom. Got that? Let's go for part 2. The Titanic didn't hit an iceberg. So we all know about the Titanic, of course, the really famous ship that sunk, and it's commonly believed that it hit an iceberg. But this might change your mind. This is mental. There was of course survivors of the Titanic, and a lot of them were interviewed. Not one of them mentioned anything about an iceberg. But what's crazy is a few people did say that there was a fire. Interesting. Now go and look at this. Before the ship even set sail, you can see a burn area in the photo. And it's actually the engine and boiler room right there. And if there was a fire in there, that's not ideal. Now there's a couple of theories I'm going to talk about, but the first one was that it never even hit an iceberg at all. It was actually an inside job done by people such as the Rothschild family, which I will make a video on later in the series. Main theory that is very believable has something to do with this burn mark. Now the theory is there was a fire on the Titanic before it even set off, and this fire weakened the hull of the boat. Maybe there was an iceberg, but not as big as it's made out to be. It did hit this iceberg, and if there wasn't a fire, it would have been completely fine. Everyone would have just not even realised. But due to the hull and the ship already being weakened from the fire, that's what made it sink. I mean, that's a very believable theory. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And make sure you hit that follow button, because it's going to get crazier. Obviously.
Here's some of the greatest...
I got some pretty good theories and videos. Yeah, as far as it being the Rothschilds, I heard it was either them or the JP Morgan that was allegedly behind the incident with the Titanic, and there was like big gains for said individual to kind of orchestrate that, if that was the case. But also, I'd heard that wasn't even the actual Titanic. I heard there was some sort of switch up, and that it was actually a different boat. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a older boat that they ended up getting rid of. But yeah, it's really interesting, and I don't think they hit an iceberg either. I really don't.
It's conspiracy theory.
But it's just my opinion. It's all speculation. Everybody go do their own research for themselves. That's just what I think.
Theories of all time, part 4. The Grinch has a well-known backstory about hating Christmas. However, eventually in the movie, his heart grows 3 sizes and he loves Christmas once again. But this story may continue longer than we think. It is clear that the Grinch isn't exactly right in the head, but during one of the Grinch's wacky stunts, he could have gotten a head injury. This injury would later take a toll on him as he grew old and caused him to lose his memory. After him and his dog died, they were given a new life in a realm called Halloween Town, where they now lived as Jack Skellington and Zero. He later reunites with his love for Christmas, just like he had when he was alive. Both eventually wear a Santa suit, both deliver presents, and both have a dog companion. It may be possible that How the Grinch Stole Christmas and The Nightmare Before Christmas are tied together.
World's most dangerous.
That is so crazy, like how with those key points and what he brought up with how it does really seem like it could be in the same timeline and how they are tied to one another. It's just crazy to think, like, you know, you watch, you know, certain shows, movies growing up, and then you get like part of your childhood like kind of like scrambled around a little bit whenever you're like, what if Jack Skellington really was the Grinch, and Jack Skellington lives on from that spirit and love he had for Christmas, and that's why he loves Christmas, because I mean in the end the Grinch ended up coming around, his heart grew, and he loved Christmas. So it's just, I don't know, that's a really interesting theory.
Here's conspiracy theories. This picture contains a list of conspiracy theories from the most well-known to the darkest. Welcome to Tier 9. Today we're going to be talking about the strange berry picker disappearances. God, that's a mouthful to say. In 2011, a man named David wrote a book called Missing 411. The book covers all of the most unsolved cases of people going missing in national parks. Some people would just wander off the trail, some would fall into the river, and some people didn't even know they were missing. Do you want to know what all of these people had in common right before they went missing? They were all picking berries. Stay with me, it's about to get crazy. One case is 6-year-old Lillian Carney, and in 1897 she went missing right after she was picking berries. According to her parents, she was here for 1 second and gone the next, almost like she just vanished. They notified the police, and around midnight, which was 12 hours later, they found her miles away from where she originally was, and they found her in a dazed trance. It gets even weirder. Police then start to question her on how she went missing, thinking maybe the parents had something to do with it. The little girl didn't even remember walking, which is crazy because she was miles away from where she originally was at. On top of that, she said the sun shined all the time, which would be impossible because it was midnight. Now, this didn't happen just once, but this has happened over 50 times. So are these people just mysteriously going missing in the woods? Or is there something darker here that we don't know about? Make sure to like and follow for more videos.
I just found it.
That is a really interesting one, and I think that without, you know, more evidence as far as other names, location, and the decade or even time period, without being able to do more further digging. But I mean, there are a lot to be said about, you know, burial grounds and the effects that, you know, people have walking over said burial grounds, and the supernatural things that can happen and take place. You know, just think about, you know, people that sleepwalk. I mean, that could be viewed as being in a trance and not even knowing it, and you're walking around and then you either snap out of it or, you know, finish what you're doing, wake up the next day and have no recollection of it.
Found out some really disturbing things about Ellen DeGeneres, and I'm not worried about that creepy sweatshirt she's wearing. But as we watch this video, the camera creeps inside of her house, and you can see that weird Evil Thoughts picture. I looked up the artist, and he's into some really satanic stuff. And that's not even the weird thing. Look at this picture of Ellen sitting inside of her home. This is the picture that was right.
See, and I'm sorry to pause it, but, and this is the thing, like, she was supposed to be somebody that was so sweet, so nice, so kind, and, you know, the things that have come out in allegations and whatnot towards her. But why is it that there are a lot of these, you know, celebrities that have these really weird and unsettling, you know, artwork, pictures, furniture, whatever have you in their houses? Like, what are they trying to say? I think we know, put two and two together, but it's just, how can they play stupid?
behind her. Now look at the letters on top. These are the same letters that you write out during satanic rituals. Look at this picture of her cutting her mother's hair. Now look at the picture above her head and try and figure it out. Oh my goodness.
Scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will
Looks evil to me. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't call it art, but I wouldn't have nothing like that in my house, around me. No, because I'm a firm believer, like, you know, too, with like energies and certain energies and vibrations that thing can be put out from things you watch, see, or hear, or even like eat and wear, you know. So something like that, no, I'm not trying to have that kind of energy up in my house.
seriously change your life. This is a list of the conspiracy theories in the world, ranking from the least scary, most normal, commonly known ones, to the darkest of the dark that will ruin your life. Welcome. In this series, we're going to be going from the top, most normal ones you probably know, to the most disturbing ones, and the research is probably going to disturb me a lot, so thanks. That said, let's kick off part 1, Area 51, but not how you would imagine. So Area 51, we all know it, it's probably the biggest conspiracy theory out there, well, the most well-known one, and the biggest theory about this place as well. There's aliens living inside, or there was aliens in there, but no, but let me know what you think. This guy right here is Bob Lazar. This guy claims that he was hired to work at Area 51 to reverse engineer alien craft. There's actually a documentary all about him, I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, you may have seen it. And this guy...
Off topic, side note, when I was first, you know, ever heard of Bob Lazar, like, whenever I'd heard somebody say his name, it just sounded like there was no space and it was just one word. Like, Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar. Like, and I just, to me, it sounded like an alien name. Bob Lazar, you know? Sorry.
He's a very clever guy. He's not some nobody. First of all, this is his drawing of an alien spacecraft. This is where it gets crazy. We all think this is the main Area 51, don't we? Maybe it is. Or is that what they want us to believe? Now, Bob claims that is not where stuff actually happens. It's located miles away, hidden in the desert, this area called Area S4. Look into this place, it's hella creepy. And if you actually go to the coordinates, it's basically blurred out, but there's also something crazy which I'll show you later. This is the area it's located in. There is literally nothing around apart from thousands of miles of just desert. I mean, it's not like some bloke's got his house out there. Look on Google Earth or photos online, this is what you'll see. In car park, which has quite a lot of cars and vehicles in it. Someone did some research into this and it actually looked like army vehicles as well. You can see these 2 doors or holes basically into the mountain. And Bob claimed this is actually the entrance to the real Area 51 where he worked. Like I said, saying that he engineered and reverse engineered these spacecraft. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Make sure you hit that follow button because this is going to get mental. Part 2 tomorrow. See you there.
I can see that being valid, you know, because just think about how publicized and talked about Area 51 is. And then whenever all those people were talking about storming Area 51 and knowing the location of it. So yeah, I could totally see that being a front. And the actual area where they may have said craft or technology, whatever have you, being completely disclosed and a complete secret, you know. So that one makes a lot of sense. I can see that being very true.
Childhood conspiracy theory iceberg. This picture represents conspiracy theories that will change your childhood forever. As always, make sure to join the Discord for the full list. This is tier 1. Mrs. Puff is a psychopath. We've all seen SpongeBob and we've all seen Mrs. Puff before. On the episode titled No Free Rides in Season 2, Mrs. Puff says this.
What have I done? Everyone will know that I let him slide through school. I'll have to move to a new city, start a new boarding school with a new name.
No, not again.
This is hinting that...
And see, it's like, as kids, we don't notice these things when we're watching shows, as far as, you know, the subliminal messaging or maybe even the adult jokes, or more geared towards being an adult joke that we wouldn't catch, we wouldn't hear. But then, you know, you watch it as an adult and you're like, that was just right in our faces. They said that, you know, on a kid's show. And that definitely made her seem like she was some sort of, you know, criminal, for sure.
Mrs. Puff has changed her identity before, and I promise this gets worse. In season 12, episode 21, SpongeBob is helping her organize some of her junk, and he comes across a newspaper that says, deranged boat teacher makes getaway. So the real question remains, who is Mrs. Puff? Make sure to like and follow.
Well, that's it for today's video. I hope that y'all enjoyed. Let me know what y'all thought of the video in its entirety or of each individual clip. Please, if you did enjoy, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for me. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.